Welcome to the stream, folks. It's Wednesday afternoon, and today we have a little bit of news that, if you remember correctly, we had a pickup problem, but we have kind of identified the problem, and I'm going to show you. So we have 31 things to pick up. Okay, so what I've done is I've been rebuilding the level part by part and then checking it to see if we have that issue again. Okay. Hey, Mr. Spock, how are you doing, mate? I had something to tell you, but I can't remember what it was. Right, anyway, so what we're doing is we've got to pick up you'll notice now that we've got 28, but there's 29. Right, you'll notice there's another 4 in here. 1, 2, 3, and you'll notice there's one ahead. Okay? But here's the big but. If I take away this T junction and run it, this is as far as I've got with this investigation, but I'll show you the problem. Right, so we're down to 30 this time, right? There's only 30. Right, now, to prove the point for this test case, right? Yeah, I've had a good day so far. Well, okay, put it that way. Not too bad. Nothing outrageous happened. Right, so did I delete the wrong part? Actually, you know what? I deleted the wrong part there. But we still have, we no longer have the problem. Right? So the question is, which part did I delete? And it appears I didn't delete any. Right, it appears I didn't delete any part, but it worked. But it didn't work the last time. Wait a minute. I deleted this part. Or did I? Yeah, I deleted a turn. Right. I deleted the turn here. Yeah, I deleted that turn. So, we're on 31 again. Now let's see if anything weird happens on 5, on 6. This isn't the point of today's stream, by the way. I just wanted to do a quick demonstration of having found where I thought the issue was, but it doesn't appear that it is the actual issue. Right? Now, the interesting thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these, and you'll notice we are back to the problem. Right? Because we have only one to pick up, and there's two stakes. Right? So that's going to take us out the level. Right? So it's something to do. I think I'm going to test this. We might test this in a minute if I get this other stuff to work first, right? But what I want to do is I want teleporters, right? And I want to do something with the teleporters. I want them to work the way that I actually want them to work, right? And it wasn't with this material, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this back up. I'm going to drag it round. We're going to put it in there. Right, and that's back to basically where we had it before. Right, now we're going to do some work on this, because what I actually want to, there's two things that I want to happen, which you're going to see in a minute, hopefully, if I can get the actual thing to work. Okay. Still not exactly in line, but we'll change this to 5. That'll do for now. Then we'll change it back to 50. Right, now here's the fun part. If we go into here, what I actually want is a scene 2D, scene capture 2D. Okay, now bear with me guys on this one. This is going to be kind of interesting. Okay. And we've got this render target. Okay. And we're going to go 256, 256 for the moment. Right. And then we're going to switch scene 2 component. And we're going to see RT teleport. Okay. and we're not going to capture every frame, and we'll leave it at that for the moment. Okay, now the next thing we're actually going to do is we're going to create a widget, and we're going to call it widget teleport camera. Right, now let me explain what I want to do. Right, what I want is for this to show the view from the other teleporter. Okay, so when we view this one, we should see the view from the other one, right? And the reason for that is so that we can use right now. The one thing that's bothering me is we have to select the RT teleport. And if we've only got one teleport material, then that's not going to work. But we'll try it anyway. Right? So, what I'm going to do is drop our widget. Can you add a widget? No, you can't. And the plane, see, this is where I ran into problems before. And that should have the render teleport, right? And the material render teleport should actually have the render target. Right? And here we go with our just wait till I report this. Right, so in theory, we should be able to do that. Then save it. And I've got no idea what's going to happen here. But you'll notice that we don't really get anything. And this is what was happening before. I had a great idea, but it's now not working. Which was, I think I had the same idea as the idea I had before. Now it is doing something. It is kind of working. Look at that. Right? Check that out. Look at that, it's cool. But I want to see what the other one's showing. And yeah, that's what I thought. See how it's showing the same thing? Right, so it's kinda working. Kinda. But the problem is that right, okay, let's use what we know. Use what we know. And what we know is we can set this what I think it's doing is it's actually adding them both together, right? Because both are drawing to RT teleport, right? But what we want to do is we want to convert this to a parameter. Okay, and this is going to be the camera render. Okay, and then what we do is this becomes a material instance right. This is all off the cuff, by the way. So what I want to happen is in our it's showing the camera. That's what I'm saying. It's what it's actually doing is it's mixing the two pictures of the camera together. Right? So you've got a camera here pointing at this wall, right? And then you've got a camera at the bottom facing all the way down, right? So you've got a merger of the two materials. Or it might not be a merge, it might be like swapping between the two. But if you actually look at it, right, you can see parts of the different picture, right? Now, the best thing for me to do in this case for you to see it better is for me to go to the actual, this here, right, and just use this, okay? And probably I want to switch off the emissive as well. Right. And now you'll see, right? And let me just do one more thing here. If I pull that out for the wall a bit, right? What we really want to see is we want to see something. Just give me 1 second here, guys. We want to see basically another plane. right? But we'll have this plane slightly to the back. And well, we might switch that back in, but that kind of wasn't... it started actually looking good by accident, right? It wasn't by design, I can tell you that. I need a colour just to backdrop it, right? I don't seem to have any because I'm an idiot. And that's because I'm a complete idiot, because I didn't actually click on the material, I clicked on the blooming static mesh. Right, so we want, right, matte black plane, that'll do, right? So we want this behind it so that we actually see what it's actually projecting onto this, right? So it's obviously a bit dark, right? Right, now what I intended to do with this, right, to be even more sneaky about it, right, was to move the camera. Right, so basically to spin the camera. By the way, all of this is doable in Unreal Engine 5. It doesn't make any difference. Right, so what I intended to do is like spin the camera like that and then like that, so that it was looking up and down the hall. Right, and basically the reason was not just for coolness, it was basically for a very good reason, and that's so that you can see the monsters if they are on the other side of the teleporter. Yeah? So that was kind of the idea behind this, right? It wasn't just for cool looks. It was so that you actually... It had a gameplay, like, reason to be, if you get my point, right? Now, what we could do is we could do that up, and one press of a button and it all falls apart. That's the usual. So what we could do is we could set up a timeline to do this, right? So we'll just add a custom event, right? Because we like doing custom events. And we'll just call it move camera. Right? And it's going to be moving on the Z. Right? So we'll just do timeline. Remember guys, the reason I'm doing this in a custom event is because you can't do timelines in functions. You can't do, well, you can do a delay, but you don't really want to do that. But anyway, right, so move camera on Z, and we'll open that up, right, and we're going to do this basically the cheap and nasty way. Right, so we'll add a key, and we'll add another key, and we're probably going to go with 3 keys here, and then just get it to loop. Right, so let's say, right, so we're going to say time 0. I'm going to muck this up, by the way, because I'm doing it on the fly, but don't worry about me. So we're going to say minus 45, right? And then we'll click on, did I muck that up? Probably. Right, there we go. And we don't need that center one, in fact. Right? We'll just actually, we don't need the one at the end. So we'll delete that. Right, so we'll just go 45, minus 45 to 45. Right, and we'll do it in, well, it's going to have to move the full distance, right? So let's say 10 seconds. Are you with me on that one, guys? Let's say 45. Change this to 10. Loop. Save that. Get it into scale again. So we're going to go for minus 45 to 45 degrees, right? So we'll go to the event graph. We'll go to the scene capture component. We'll drag it in. Well, we'll go for 10 and we'll check it out, right? But we don't want it going too fast, right? Or it's, well, obviously the player will get used to it, right? But when you first see this, you're probably going to be confused at what you're seeing. And if it's moving too fast, it's probably going to be even more confusing, right? So what we'll do is we shall say rotation right, and I didn't set this up, so I should really do this properly for you guys if I'm doing it at all. Right, so we rename this to our Z value, right? So we get our Z value, we'll split this, and we'll plug this into here, right? And update can go there. And basically on our begin play, make sure this isn't on some weird, right, that's fine. We're going to need this, right? And we're actually doing a loop there, right? So we're going to be saying, well, I don't know what I'm going to be saying yet. I'm going to be saying move camera, right? Move. Okay, did I call it move camera, guys? Did I? Yeah, I did. Right. Now, isn't this going to be cool if it works? Now, we've not solved all the problems yet, guys, right? But let's have a look. And it is doing something, but it's on the wrong. Right, well, that's weird. And it should definitely be rotation on Z. Right? Right, because and it looks like, actually looks like, yeah, 40 might do it. Yeah. No, it's on the right axis, that's for sure. It's definitely on the Z. Right, because that's what one I'm doing. Right? So that's perfectly fine. There's something else going on here, right? It looks like, where was I? Okay, event graph. And that's fine. That looks more like it's done the position rather than the rotation, doesn't it? It looks like it's going up and down, which would mean that it's actually doing the the position rather than rotation, which would be very weird indeed. I mean, I've got to say, that's pretty damn cool though. Right, now, but the thing that right, here's what I think the problem is. It's doing weird things because it's actually amalgamating the two, right? It's because we need to create, and this is where things start getting interesting, we need to create our camera material instance. Okay. And that is going to be a material instance. Okay. And on begin play, bear with me on this one, guys. This might take a minute to get this working, but this is a little more complicated than the normal stuff. So we're going to create a dynamic material instance, right? And it's going to be a material instance render teleport. Right? Now, do we go for this big style or do we do this step by step? That is the question. I think we go for it big style. Right? We go for the complicated version. Now, this is our teleporter, right? But the material that we want to actually, the material that we want to show is not the material that we are collecting. We want to show the material from the connected teleporter, right? So we basically set that And this is where the setting up stuff came in early, or earlier. The thing we do here is, for this instance, we have to set a parameter. Right? And it's a texture parameter. Okay, it's not that. Hang on a second, I've done something wrong here. Right, I was getting this the other day and I can't remember what it was, but I wanted like just a texture, not a texture. Right, we're going to go back to here. And this is like camera render. This is what we want to pass in to our texture, right? And yeah, so when we make the instance, this is what we're passing in. Yeah, I want it on that context sensitive thing just now, or maybe I don't. Right, but is this going to work is the question. Can I create right, so this is a render texture, right? So you can't create an instance of this. But I could copy it. The question is, right, because this is maybe going to, you'll see that it's working, right? But the problem is going to be that I need to, everything can't be done to this render texture here, okay? Right? Because then every camera is going to be trying to use the same render texture, and it's going to be passing its own version of what it sees into the one render texture, right? So that's not going to work. Now, I don't want to create like a set number of render textures, right? But the question is, can I make a copy of this or like an instance of it, right? So that I can actually make each of the different cameras use a different render texture, which is based on this render texture. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm thinking is, I don't know what you mean by add them both. Right, so can I create. No, I want each to use a different render texture, right? But I want them to be instances of this render texture, right? But at the moment, all of them, all of the teleporters are using this render texture here, right? So if they all keep passing their renders to that render texture, right, then it's just going to be an amalgam of all the cameras, right? So what I need is a way of splitting them up. So this is a weird one. Sorry for me going all quiet. I'm reading. I'm checking to see what we've got here. That's not what I wanted to do. I'm just wondering if we'll call that RT var. It doesn't appear that you can do it. Anybody in the chat got any ideas on this, then feel free to jump in. Integer render target. Okay, so that's for something else. Render target 2D array. That's a Niagara data thing again. So I'm wondering here, this is a render target. Okay. So I'm guessing this is going to be this here. No, those target volumes and all that stuff were all for Niagara particle effects. Right, so I think this is a no-goer unless we were to create like a number of these render teleports, and then basically create about 10 of them, and then try and keep in mind which ones were, or try to find out which ones are in use. Right, so I'm just wondering, I bet you, yeah, if you set that in as an array, right, then basically what you'd have to do is create like a lot of these. Let's for a laugh, right? Let's for a laugh. We'll duplicate that, right? And we'll say BT teleport 1, right? And then in here, we'll save that, right? Just as a test. This is just as a let's find out if it works. Right? This isn't the best way to do this, but it might be the only way to do it. Right, now basically that's fine for now. Right? So you'll see there at the moment it's basically blending two together, right? Two cameras. And I'm getting myself confused here, right? Where were we? Oh, that was the widget, so that wasn't ever going to work. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to close everything so I've only got the appropriate things open. Right. So we're going to delete that. Right. And let me think of the way we do this. Okay. So the scene component uses a target. Okay, so we need to set this texture target. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a variable, right, and we'll call it text index. Okay, and this is just for testing purposes to see if we can get it working. And I'm going to go and grab a quick cigarette and take a toilet break. So if you're enjoying my struggles with render targets, then hit the like and subscribe, check out the description for Discord, and I'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere, guys. Oh, by the way, if you all subscribe, everybody watching that hasn't subscribed, I'll hit 500 subscribers, which would be great. Okay, back in a minute. Okay, guys. Right, as per usual, I always solve problems when I'm out having a cigarette. Okay, so if I suddenly say I'm going to have a cigarette, it means I'm going to solve the problem. So the problem is actually solved, and I had already solved this problem. Right? And the reason I said that is because it isn't going to be a problem. Right? Because this scene capture component is only going to be enabled when I set it to enabled. Okay? So basically, there is only ever going to be one teleport active at any one time. Right? So there's only ever going to be one teleport using the camera. Hey GBO Tom, how you doing, mate? Right, so there's only ever going to be one render camera render target using the render target texture at any one time. Okay, so these are automatically going to be switched off, right? And it's just basically going to be a case of adding a sphere collision and by the way, the reason that our this is going the wrong way maybe not, right, is I think that the scene capture thing is underneath the plane, except it's not. Except I think they are. Right? So because the plane has been spun 90 degrees, then the camera is going the other way. So if I actually set it the other way around, it'll be fine. Right? But the point here that I'm trying to make is we need to make this sphere bigger. Right? And it's not going to overlap. It's going to overlap only upon. Right? And then on begin overlap, we're basically going to activate it. And then on exit overlap, we're basically going to stop it. Okay. So basically, we're going to say hashtag and it's going to be player, and then it's going to be branch, right? And we're going to drag this in and then we're going to activate it, right? So only one of our cameras at any one time is going to be using the render target texture. Okay. So on disable or on exiting our sphere, we're going to deactivate it. Okay, now already had thought of this. for the sake of not using too many render targets at one time, or render scene component things, because they're quite heavy on usage, so you don't really want them in use all the time. So basically what we'll do is we deactivate, right? And now our original code should actually work. So let's just check this a minute. And if we don't do that, right, and we do this, now that is looking down this hallway, I believe. Right, what I think we need to do here is we need to add a light. I'm afraid we need a directional light of some description here, or a point light. Right, well, I'll tell you what, we'll just add a big point light here. Right, and we'll stick it in the middle. Now is that going to give us... Now that's just resetting. It's not ping-ponging. How do we get this to ping-pong again? Well, the easiest way is to, I'm guessing, add another key. Alright, we're going to undo that. Right, so this is going to be 20. It's going to be minus 45, I believe. 20. Right, that'll do it. Right, let's have a look at this again. Right, okay, whatever. So that's working right, except for we're not getting the rotation right. So I think it's because that plane has... Is it the pitch or is it EO? Right, now it looks to me let's go to the viewport again, right? And it's saying that there's... Right. So I'm going to delete this for now, right? And I'm going to add this back in. Right, now the really weird thing here okay, I guess it's not like that much. Alright, whatever. Alright. So the question is, why is this scene capture component at a weird angle? I can't tell what that's looking at. I mean, it looks as if it's looking down there, right? Yeah, that's definitely where it looks like it's looking down. But that's goddamn weird. It should not be capture every frame. Alright, we're not going to do anything with that stuff. And it should be not be auto activate. Right, we'll go back over to this one and make sure it is not auto activate. Right, it should not be auto activate. Right, call me completely off my noggin, right? But why is this at some weird, funky angle? Right, the only thing I can imagine yeah, but you can see here the camera's not tilted, right? The camera is at 0, 0, 0, 0. Right? It's just seriously not. And where is a scene component when you want one? It doesn't matter what the rotation is, right? Because I want it to be pointing away from this plane, right? Basically, this plane is, we can do this, right? We can take this plane away. Right, this is what we want. We want our camera to be shown what is there, right? But when our thing is in the world, I think I know what the issue is here. No, it shouldn't be that. It should not be that. Ah, we have another issue. Tell you what. We're going to delete this. And we're going to delete this. We're going to delete both of them. And we're only going to actually use one of them for now. Right? So we're going to drop a teleporter in. Right, now you'll notice rotations are 0, 0, blah, blah. Right, rotations are 0 for that. Rotations are 0 for our default and for our thing. The only thing that has any rotation is our plane. Right? But for whatever reason, why does our camera not move? Well, it's because we only had the plane selected. Right, wait a minute. We're going to delete that. I'm going to drag it back in because I made a koozass of that. Right. Hi, L'Oreal. Noah, how you doing, mate? And the really strange thing here see, it's still doing this weird thing. Right, hang on a second here. We're going to go back to our material, right? And the weird thing about this is this should be solid. Right? So in theory, I should be able to do that. right? Now we've got a better view, right? You got to admit, guys, that's actually pretty cool, even though it's not quite working yet. Right. So, we're going to leave that just now, right? And we're going to go back to our timeline. Wait a minute. What size is this sphere? Because our scene component, right, should not be active. Right, so this shouldn't actually be working. Ah, we brought it back in and we told it to auto activate. Right, now the interesting thing yeah, but yeah, I mean that's what I'm going to do, but I'm not happy with that. It shouldn't. I don't know why it's doing this, right? I don't know why it's doing this weird thing, right? I mean, in theory, right, you could basically spin this 90 degrees. Right, except not. You could spin this. Is it this one? Yeah. So if you spin that 90 degrees, it works. Right? But I'm not. You'll notice now that shouldn't even be active, by the way. Right, we only had one. Right, you'll notice now it's went back. Right? So you would have to assume we changed that 90, but as soon as it started, it went to crap. And the point of the matter is that it's set to auto activate as off, right? But this is where you get to issues because auto activate is off, right? So this camera should not even be active at this point. Right, so there's a couple of issues going on here that I don't quite understand. Number one is that it's moving at all. Right, that should not be moving at all. Or sorry, it should be moving, but we should be getting no render target. right? And obviously the rotation as well, right? But I've set it to not auto activate, but it's automatically started, and it may be something to do with that. Try that. It's still doing it. Hang on a second. If I plug this back in here, is there some weird oh, that looks cool now. Right, but it's still weird. That just looks too bleeding cool to not do something with it. We'll set that to emissive as well, back to the way it was. Right, but it's still not working. It's going to be something really stupid. That's the thing that's bothering me. Right, okay. What I'm going to do, in the first instance, on begin play, is I'm not worried about the rotation, right? Don't worry about the rotation. That's not the issue here. The issue is that it shouldn't be actually doing anything. This scene capture component should not be active, right? Which means it shouldn't be rendering out, right? Which is more of an issue because we need to make sure that only one of these is active and pushing data to our render texture, right? Because the minute we add another one, then they're going to start adding together. right? So I don't expect this to be working. Which is the big problem here. Rotation's a minor quibble, right? We can sort that out later. But the big quibble here is if all of our scene render capture components, if they are all active, then we're not going to get the right render anyway, right? We're just going to get basically them all blending together. Okay? So that is more important. Right? So you know what? I think it is working. Right? But the problem is that it sets it once. So I think it's not actually capturing the player. Right? It won't actually capture what's going on. Right? Let me just demonstrate what I'm talking about, right? And then prove myself completely wrong. Okay? And let me just delete some bots as well. Right. What I mean is, if we go to our pawn, right? And we go to the viewport. Right? And what we do is we stick in a cube. Right? Now, if we see the cube in here, then this is active. If we do not see the cube in here, then it's inactive, and it's basically just showing what is saved, the last basic save to the render target. Okay? Right, so you'll notice that you don't see a cube. Right, no cube. Right? No cube. Right? Now, we know that if we stand over here, right, this is where it would be. Now, did we see a cube there? And there, is that the cube? Apparently it is. There's the cube. Right, so the texture is, in fact, active. Right, so it's definitely updating. Okay, so that's the bigger problem, right? That is the bigger problem because we're seeing this cube, right? Now, if our component, hi Slors, how you doing, mate? How are you today? If this was activated, right, hang on a second. I might have to, there may be a thing I need to do here. Let's do that, even though I don't think it's going to do a sodding thing, right? But we're going to bring up our, we're just going to basically say, is it active or not? Is active. Then branch, no, what am I doing? We just want to print string that. Now, this is only my first idea for the teleporter, guys, by the way. I've got something else that I want to do, but it ain't going to work until this part works. Right, so it says false, right? So if it's false, why is it updating this? I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. And look, it's still doing it. Strangely, it isn't moving though. Right, now it appears that that was because of movement. Right, that was the only thing I changed there. Ah, wait a minute, I did set the reset, didn't I? Hit that reset button. Well, we'll click that again. Is it moving this time? Yeah, it is. Right, okay. Okay. So basically, right, what I think we're going to have to do is frig this. Frig it a bit. Right? Bear with me and I'll show you what I mean, right? I don't even need to activate and deactivate this, right? All I need to do is basically say movement. Set capture on movement to true. Okay, we'll see if we can fix this bit by bit, okay? Or we'll see if we can get a better outcome bit by bit. Now, what I think I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to switch off and on the render target for this. Like, I'm going to have to clear the render target. Okay, when we deactivate so that it gets nothing. Okay, so what I think is going to happen now is basically not a lot, but that's what I want to happen. And for some reason that's moving. Well, I'm getting kinda flummoxed here. Did I switch that back on? Right, that's what we want, right? And when I go like that, it will start moving. That's right. Okay. I'll show you what I mean, right? The idea is this. This sphere here, we're going to have to make bigger, okay? In the meantime, we need to see it in the viewport, right? So if we make that, let's say 512, right? And that's probably still too small. We need 1024, right? We could actually just do this as a box. In fact, it'd probably be better as a box. Right, but you'll get the idea anyway. Right, so what I want to do is that when you come down here, right, you'll notice that our render isn't actually changing, right? But now it is, because we've just enabled it. Right, now when we disable it, it's going to stop moving again. So basically what we want to do is we want to tell it that its render target is nothing, right? The render target is nothing while we are outside it, but it's something once we're inside it, okay? Now, I don't know how this is going to work, and this is where our material instance might come in, right? But in theory, right, we're going to say texture, set texture target is nothing. Actually, that is going to be RT teleport. And then in here, we're going to set it to nothing. Right? And you'll notice that Mr. Spock, don't worry about the rotator, right? Just don't. It's a minor issue. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to set this back. We're going to bin these. We've got bigger problems to deal with. Right, and a little European scores update for you, for anybody interested in the football. Manchester United have beaten Sheriff Tiraspol 3-0. Ronaldo, Rashford, Dalot. And the other, let's have a look. The other of interest in the UK would be West Ham look as if they're going to beat Silkeborg, and Heart of Midlothian are beating Regis 2-1. And there you go, there is your European soccer update. Remember guys, I'm only 5 subscribers away from, 500. Right, so we want to plonk. It's being a dick. Why is that saying it's an array? Right. Okay, undo that. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to be a blank render. Right, why is this saying okay, whatever. Right. Right, now you'll notice when I come back, it's not freaking doing it. Okay. Okay. What we need to do is in here, I think in the first instance, we're going to reset it. Right? Now, that is nothing now. And now it is something, right? But you'll notice that it stays something. Now, I know I'm going to try that texture target. Get texture target, right? And then can I clear this? Clear color. Okay. So this is cool. There we go. Right? Right, now the issue here is this is perfect, right? But there is one issue, but it isn't really an issue at all, right? You're maybe thinking to yourself, well, it's not shown there, but the teleporter's going to be there, right? But we're never going to put a teleporter right at a T-junction. Okay, so it's never going to be that much of an issue, right? Right, so I mean, this is just basically for, whoops. This one's just for sort of demonstration purposes, right? But it would never be, like, say it was over there, right? And we can basically, so you're not going to see it until you get around the corner here, right? And by the time you get around the corner, it's already showing the correct thing, right? And then by the time we move away, so a little skullduggery there, but you get the point, right? yeah, so what we can, the final point here, and actually we'll end on that, but what I'm going to work on offline possibly is, remember that we're not going to be looking at our own camera. We're going to be looking at the camera from our partner teleporter, right? Because we want to see where we're jumping to, not where we're jumping from. Okay? And the other idea that I had was that when you actually jump in a teleporter, right? So when you hit the enter button, the camera is going to pull back and you'll see your 3D body jumping into the teleporter. Okay, so it'll be like a little live cut screen that you will see yourself. As I says, the camera will pull back a bit, right? And then you'll see yourself jumping into the wall. Okay? And that is the kind of idea. It might not work in this type of game, but that is kind of the idea I had. Don't know if you guys think it's a good idea or not, but as I said, it sounds awesome, but whether it actually works within the gameplay environment or the sort of game we've got might not actually work. And with that, guys, if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. We're nearly at 500. We only need 5 more, just 5. And yeah, check out the description for Discord and ways to support the channel on Patreon and my previous game on Steam. You can add it to your wish list if you like. And we shall see you at 8 PM tonight. That's Central Time. And thank you for watching. Bye bye for now.